Hello, my name's Cliff Stevenson and I'm the Helpful Economist. Today we're looking at the question of whether companies are responsible for worsening inflation, or is greedflation a thing? There's lots of talk of the wage price spiral. This describes the situation where price increases result in wage increases. Wage increases create higher costs, which results in higher price increases. This creates further wage increases, further price increases, and so on. When central bankers talk about this, they focus on the wage increases. For example, the governor of the Bank of England has said, "We do need to see restraint in pay bargaining, otherwise it will get out of control." In addition, the chairman of the US Federal Reserve has said we want strong wage increases. We just want them to be at a level that's consistent with 2% inflation. So here we have the world's central bankers focusing on workers' wages in order to prevent the wage price spiral. But there is some recent evidence showing that companies may be at least partially responsible for causing this spiral. Weber and Werner of the University of Massachusetts state that US COVID-19 inflation is predominantly a seller's inflation, and that this derives from the ability of firms with market power to hike prices. Other recent work by Glover and others for the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City analyzes how much corporate profits have contributed to inflation. This work states that total US inflation in 2021 was 5.8%. Of this, 2.4% came from companies facing higher costs, and 3.4% reflected a higher markup, effectively a higher profit on top of costs. This research concludes that markup growth likely contributed more than 50% to inflation in 2021. Interestingly, this study found that rather than raising prices because of market power, as suggested in the other study, firms were raising prices in anticipation of future cost increases. But either way, both these studies found that companies were raising prices above their cost increases. Recent evidence for the UK has been provided by the UK trade union Unite. This study analysed profits for FTSE 350 companies for the first half of 2022 and compared it to previous years. It found that profitability increased from 5.7% in 2019 to 9.7% in 2021 and further increased to 10.7% in 2022. The study concluded that it's corporate profiteering, not workers' wages, that's helped drive inflation spirals. So looking at the wage price spiral process, cost shocks such as Ukraine and COVID cause an increase in companies' costs, which in turn causes price increases in order to maintain profitability. This results in increased wages to maintain real incomes and triggers the so-called wage price spiral. But there does seem to be some evidence that companies have increased prices above their cost increases. Is this greedflation? Or is this what you'd expect from profit-maximizing companies in a free market? I think it's fair to say that there is some imbalance with central bankers focusing on workers and no mention of the behavior of companies. There does seem to be a case for considering the extent to which companies may be worsening inflation. I hope you found this information useful. I'm Cliff Stevenson. I'm the Helpful Economist. See you next time.